Damon Hill hinted in France that this might be his last year in Formula One.
If I wasn't enjoying it and I didn't think I could be competitive, then I think it was time to stop. And I think those two criteria were met this year.
The Englishman failed to qualify but was allowed to race, where he trailed around at the back until retiring. However, Eddie Jordan still backs his driver.
So there's a number of circuits that are coming to his advantage. Silverstone, Spa, of course, where he won with us. But overall, I think Damon is committed to Jordan, and Jordan is committed to him, and it's my opinion at this stage. I mean, I've heard what he said, but I still believe that it's his intention to finish the season with Jordan and finish on a high note.
I want to do the very best I can for Eddie and the team, and we'll see what happens.
Approaching the midpoint of the season, and round 8 takes the championship to Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. Steeped in motor racing history, the circuit hosted the first round of the championship in 1950 and is renowned for attracting record crowds and model spectators. Damon Hill's back at the front of his home Grand Prix, lining up in 6th place. Mika Häkkinen starts on pole for the 6th time this year, with David Coulthard in 3rd, pushed back by Michael Schumacher, who starts 2nd. Waiting for the lights, and it's go. Herbert back in 11th takes evasive action as the McLarens blast off the grid. Both Coulthard and Irvine getting the jump on Schumacher. Round cops, and the German has it all to do to catch the flying Finn. Yet another dismal race for Jacques Villeneuve, and that Zanardi stranded too. The race has been stopped while the stallers are cleared, but Schumacher is oblivious. He's still racing and looking to pass his teammate, charging down the Hangar Straight. Hard on the throttle into Stowe, and the German's late on the brakes, locking up across the gravel, and that's a very heavy impact into the tyre barrier. Schumacher's skid marks are visible to the other drivers. The marshals are on the scene quickly, and Schumacher looks okay. Watched by Ferrari's technical director Ross Brawn. McLaren's drivers discuss the implications of Schumacher's exit, while Eddie Irvine tries to remain cool. But there's concern from brother Ralph.
Well, they're saying his legs are bruised or something. Ross didn't, I just spoke with Ross didn't seem too positive about getting anything to our side of it.
The Williams driver still has a job to do and will have to wait to discover the extent of Michael's injuries. The double world champion, now removed from his car, will be taken to hospital for a full examination. With the wreckage removed, the restarted race can begin. Häkkinen's away well, Irvine's past Coulthard for 2nd, with Frentzen 4th and Ralf Schumacher moving up to 5th past Damon Hill. De La Rosa's stranded on the grid, bringing out the safety car. With the hazard removed, the race resumes. Häkkinen still leading, but Irvine in 2nd is really feeling the pressure from DC. Side by side down the pit straight, the Ulsterman manages to hang on to his position. Through bridge, the ultra-fast right-hander Mika's already built up a 6-second lead. Frentzen and Schumacher are in together for their first stops. This is the battle for 4th, and could give Ralph the opportunity to get past his compatriot. Something's holding up the Jordan. It's the Williams coming down the pit lane as Ralph goes through. Eddie Irvine in the sole Ferrari is currently running 2nd and is due for his first stop at any time. The Ferrari's in now. DC's already stopped and has just set his fastest lap of the race. Irvine's overshot his garage, which will cost him time. Exiting the pit lane now, but that's Coulthard. The Scotsman's ahead and up to 2nd place. Problems for Mika Häkkinen. He's lost his rear wheel. Unbelievable. The wheel bounces across the circuit and very nearly takes out Fisichella. Häkkinen can only limp back to the pits. The championship leader's losing time and places while his crew try to get to the bottom of the problem. This is an unscheduled stop, coming just 1 lap after his first. And Häkkinen rejoins the race, although now a lap down on the leaders. David Coulthard is the new race leader, with Eddie Irvine giving chase. Ralf Schumacher's doing an astounding job, now up to 3rd in the Williams, his best performance since Australia. Häkkinen's back in, and this time it's for good. As DC concentrates on the road ahead, still under intense pressure from Irvine behind. Ralf Schumacher and Frentzen race to the bitter end for that final podium place, but it's David Coulthard who crosses the line to win at his home Grand Prix. Mika Hakkinen hides his disappointment with pleasure at his teammate's first win of the season, the 5th of the Scotsman's career. With Eddie Irvine second and Damon Hill 5th, the local drivers have made the most of the local support.
This is definitely the best feeling I've ever had in my racing career. To win this race, I think, is, always has been the one that I would trade for any other win, to win in the British Grand Prix. So it's fantastic.
A great result that will put him firmly back in the title hunt. With Irvine second and Hill 5th, 3 Brits finish in the points at Silverstone. Michael Schumacher's nightmare weekend began with disappointment. Only 6th fastest on Friday, his first run in qualifying was not quick enough to beat Mika Hakkinen. The German failed to better his time, but was quick enough to start second. Things didn't get any better in the race when David Coulthard and teammate Eddie Irvine pushed him down to 4th place. The Ferrari driver tried hard to pass Irvine, believing it was a race situation, but unknown to both drivers, the race had been red flagged. Charging down to Stowe Corner, Schumacher saw his opportunity to pass, but locked up and went straight on, hitting the tyre barrier with considerable force. There was much speculation to what caused the off. Was it a mechanical fault or driver error? Michael Schumacher was lucky to escape with relatively light injuries.
And just came flying past me with, I think, 4 wheels locked. He was flying.
This incident has thrown Ferrari's championship aspirations into disarray, but Jean Todt was adamant that Schumacher was not at fault.
Michael trying to brake hard before Stowe Corner, just lost hydraulic pressure with the brake. He could not do anything, just lost the control of the car and went straight on.
Michael Schumacher was admitted to Northampton General Hospital this afternoon and found to have sustained a straightforward fracture of the right tibia and fibula. These injuries were reduced during a surgical procedure which was uncomplicated.
Mika Hakkinen had a fantastic start to the weekend, snatching pole by nearly half a second. The Finn's fine form continued early in the race, but trouble lay ahead. Problems fitting his left rear wheel left Mika trying to reassure himself everything was okay. It wasn't. On his outlap, he slowed dramatically, allowing Coulthard to pass him for the lead. Back in the pits on the next lap, the world champion would have to wait 27 seconds to have the troublesome wheel changed, the crew having real problems seating the left rear properly. As the seconds ticked past, so did any chance he had of capitalizing on Schumacher's absence. Another check on the way out, and the problem finally appeared to be solved. Hakkinen went on to set the fastest lap of the race, but immediately after, it became apparent that all was not well. Luckily for the Finn, he was close enough to the pit entrance to get back to his garage, where his McLaren crew were waiting for him. Things still weren't right, the crew giving the wheel hub assembly a close inspection. Another change of wheel, and he was sent on his way once again.
Some kind of problem there. I don't know exactly myself yet, but it was something so dangerous it was no point to continue.
McLaren opted to be safe.
We took a prudent, safe decision with Mika. We weren't sure what the problem was. It's just the right thing to do. It's motor racing.
The gossip at Silverstone was centred around Damon Hill's possible retirement, and that this might be his last race.
You're not going to have an announcement from me. I'm just here to get on with the race weekend, not making any announcements about any other things that concern driving or not driving.
Damon's reticence on the subject points to the possibility that he's not yet made up his mind.
Well, I don't know if Damon Hill's retiring. And I don't think you know if Damon Hill's retiring. And I'm not even sure Damon knows if he's retiring.
I hope that he has a race meeting this weekend which persuades him that he should see the season out.
Not all would agree.
Once you're not hungry anymore, then you should stop. I think, if he retires, the sport will miss him.
Fifth place, though, might encourage him to keep on driving.
I can only say it's the last British Grand Prix.
Whatever he decides, it's been a memorable career.